Welcome to the Weekly Hijack.
Hello, dearie.
No, it's got to be like...
I can't.
Hello, dearie.
Yeah, you got...
You can't do Rumpelstiltskin without a flare of the hands, or at least I can't. But, did you get your name in this episode?
The Price.
The Price, thank you. Which is very appropriate because magic always has a price. But actually, I really enjoyed this episode.
This was a good episode.
The whole switching Emma's and Regina's roles is kind of fun. I mean, that's sort of one of the things I was looking forward to this whole season. And this episode was kind of the first tastes of that kind of stuff.
And once we got past our complaints last episode, then they actually did pretty good work with.
Yeah. I mean, we at the very beginning, we were like, how do they know there's another curse? And then I guess basically, anytime you get sent back to Storybrooke and don't remember have amnesia, that means there's a curse.
Yeah.
There's a fresh curse on town, apparently.
There's a lot of curses in that town.
And it changes each time.
Yeah.
Although I was confused at the very end. Who's the dwarf that got... The stone dwarf that they brought in at the end and that Regina restored?
She was turned stone at the end of last episode. Be like Swan was just...
Okay. Man, it took him a while to heal that guy.
Yeah, Regina's like, okay, fine, I'll do it now.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, because because they joked at the beginning, like, previous time you cross the curse, one time you get turned into like a flying monkey or something.
Yeah, that was with Zelina.
Yeah, who was it exactly that happened to?
One of those dwarves, I think. I think the dwarves are always the one that walk across and get something. I mean, one of them forgot their...
Or was it that one? Too. Was it the one guy though? Remember, there was that one storyline about the one guy who.
Well, he was also a monkey. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's a sidetrack.
Come on now. Keep track of all your random curses. The Camelot been fun. It's fun to see Henry actually like...
Yeah, have we ever seen... We saw Henry in Neverland, but have we ever seen Henry in like the other fairy tale lands?
Seems like we should have, but I don't remember.
I don't remember. There's certainly nothing like this. The whole ball scene was a lot
really
of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I love that the whole thing with Regina's dress at the beginning.
Try something not so evil.
A little less scary. I mean, they're having fun with a lot of their characters and playing with their...
And that's, I enjoy that part.
Yeah.
And the flashback or forward or whatever you want to say worked pretty well this time, and, the whole price and at first like, okay, so you have to pay... And actually, paying a price, that was an interesting way of doing it. You always say you have to pay a price, but Emma tried to do it without one.
Yeah, then I guess apparently
it catches up at some point. I don't know why it took so long, but
it's like the one Doctor Who episode where there's like those crazy bat things that have like fixed time.
Fixed time.
Eventually, Furies come back out to fix the magic equilibrium.
It seems to me, this is my one niggling thing on the magic this time. Was okay. So there's 5 of them to take to stop from taking Regina. I mean, there's still's got to be a prize.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Like, you set this very hard and fast rule, and it's like, for a minute I thought, well, this could be interesting. Are they all going to go to the underworld? That would be an interesting, like, story.
I thought maybe they'd do a Babylon 5 sort of like they all lost 10 years of their life or something, but
there's really no explanation. It's just sort of a Guardians of the Galaxy moment.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they had explained something.
It's just weird when you set up this price, and we've always had price, and suddenly you don't need a price because you all stand there and hold hands.
Yeah, the power of friendship is the one rule breaker.
Exactly. All right, let's throw some other people. Zach, Natasha, Joanna, Eric. Anyone want to?
I feel like Zach's been holding himself back.
No, I really didn't. I didn't have much to say about this one. I thought there were a couple of lame little things like that. I don't know. I didn't like. I get she saved him back in the thing. The flying demon thing was a weird way to do it. They could have done it in a better way that I think would have...
I know why it takes 6 weeks to catch up with your magic prize.
It didn't make much sense at all. And this is another, we'll see if, today's flashback was successful. I think it was a decent one. But I'm still, if every episode is this half forward, half backward, it's just... I know it's their thing, and if they did it well all the time, then it's not a bad thing, but they don't do it.
I'm curious to see how long you can keep up the I'm not going to tell you what happened thing.
Like, this episode felt like it moved, even with the flashback, it felt like it moved the plot along. Like, we got to see, and which I was happy for. It wasn't like this kind of him-hawing, dilly-dallying around. We saw there was a specific thing that Regina did that pushed Emma onto the path, and it fit in well with her saying, "Stop making me clean up your messes," kind of stuff. It fit in pretty well, and it'll be interesting to see how far they can keep that up before we get into like filler territory.
If you're gonna make this weird demon thing, why does it look like a tree and go with the tree thing and not actually connect with the tree thing?
Yeah, a lot of tree stuff going on this episode.
Which wouldn't have been that bad. I mean, the tree thing with Merlin being a tree and the tree when you walk out, so there's something there, which is fine. But that made me think this demon thing tied in with the tree thing, which that was just some demon from the underworld that looks like a tree too. I was very confused.
I don't know.
It looks like Groot from Guardians.
Evil Groot.
Flying girl Groot.
I wonder if we want to make obscure Disney references here. You know, that one time we had Chernabog from Fantasia. I wonder if they'll go to like that wood nymph thing from Fantasia 2000.
Do you remember that one?
She's just like the green. That like
this is a very Miyazaki one. That one.
Yeah. So I don't know. It may have nothing to do with that, but that's something that crossed my mind.
I don't know why the knight was spying on them to begin with.
He must have recognized her and thought.
Is that the idea?
It wasn't explained. That's the only logical idea I could come up with, because otherwise, I'm just gonna give it a thing just in case.
And weren't they back in their time, the 6 weeks later, when he said we weren't completely honest with you before?
I think he meant like at the very beginning when they first met.
But then he was honest. He did end up being honest with them.
That's true. He didn't tell him
that she was the dark one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they ever told him that.
Yeah.
No. I wonder. Okay, is it in the story of Arthur and what's her name, Guinevere? Doesn't she fall in love with a knight?
With Lancelot.
Is that going to come in and mess up
it could
story, and that's why Emma Swan is having?
Where are the coconuts? That's what I want to know. Where are the coconuts?
Actually, I was surprised that it was Percival and not like Mordred or someone.
Yeah,
Percival is pure. Isn't he the pure? Galahad the pure. Never mind, I'm thinking that, but so Percival.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, Galahad the pure, because he's the Sir Galahad's the one that goes to the Castle of Anthrax.
Okay,
you're in mortal danger. Or anyway,
Natasha, you have anything for this episode?
Not much. I mean, just some small, teeny tiny complaints. Like Regina in that scene where that they all join hands.
Yeah.
She comes and says, "I'm doing what I should have done in Camelot." She doesn't know what she should have done in Camelot. She doesn't remember. So she's making a big assumption that it had anything to do with her.
Yeah, I think she's taking Emma's word for it that its arrival had something to do with her. That was her fault in the first place.
Yeah.
Which it's possible that like you hear certain things and your amnesia is like, oh, that makes sense.
Like the music.
Yeah. Like it,
or you see certain words in a spacecraft, and then you're like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It kind of keys you in.
Is there other episodes of the week?
I also appreciated that Hook was trying to. He was following leads. Pretty natural questions like, should we try the True Love's Kiss thing? Maybe that will bring. Of course, Dark One is a darker evil than that, I guess. And if True Love's Kiss would have worked, then it seems like Belle and Rumpelstiltskin would have had success with that long ago. But it's nice to have that
logic.
Yeah, that
it's nice to see Belle and Hook talking, and that Leroy gets all kinds of screen time.
Yeah,
the dwarves are
a little grumpy. Yeah,
the dwarves show up. I hope they keep showing up. They need to.
Yeah, it's been way too long since we got.
I think Grumpy should be the savior of this season.
Okay,
probably not. But.
But after all our disappointment with the last 5 minutes of the last episode, I thought this was a pretty strong follow-up.
Yeah, it worked really well. They can keep that kind of doing this sort of thing. It'd be a stronger,
be a good
season.
Thing.
Yeah.
Interesting though, Zelina after like the beginning, she just kind of disappeared from this episode. I half expected her when Emma was looking into Granny's and feeling very left out. I thought that would be a perfect time for Zelina to slide in and say, now you know how I feel. Because that's Selena's whole story.
And I do have to say, Emma as the Dark One has been much more interesting than I wasn't sure what we were going to get. I'm like, there's a lot of angles Buddhist thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just evil gold conscience. You know, the evil Jiminy Cricket is pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the conscience, though.
Yes, I see where you went with that.
They've really redone her whole, well, obviously they've redone her look, but her whole character, I always felt like she was a character who wouldn't mesh well in the Enchanted Forest. Like, her looks and everything, I was like, putting her in a dress, she has too sharp features to be a fairy tale character. But she makes a really great villain.
It's true.
I can see that. So, again, we're looking forward a little more now to seeing where they're going with all this. You know, you intrigued us once, writers.
Wait, you intrigued us once, Ryder?
Yeah,
or intrigued us twice? Is that what it goes?
That turned out to be a cleverer wordplay than I intended, but I'll go with it. Until next time, we'll see where this goes. And in case you only listened to our Once Upon a Time podcast, we did recently release a new Derailed Trains of Thought episode. So if you want to hear us talk about fandoms and story ownership,
and then some movie recap,
go check that out at derailedtrainsofthought.blogspot.com. But until next time, this is Tim.
This is Nick.
Good night.